Good afternoon. Oh, good afternoon, Claire. What's wrong, Molweni? Allow me to begin by welcoming and recognizing His Excellency Ambassador Maruyama, as well as all the officials from the Embassy of the People and Government of Japan. It's a great pleasure, sir, to be with you today. And then, of course, Mr. Beach, very tough principal. Always telling us, hey, DHET, we need this. You must do that because we are really good. And he heads a very good institution. I have, Mr. Maggot, you're right, had the pleasure of visiting your Belleville campus where you're doing really excellent ICT programs. I remember how many of the young people you train are actually absorbed by industry. And I've always said to other institutions they should copy your model because it's very, very responsive. So we do hear you and we are trying to do more. And then, of course, I must recognize Mrs. Temani of Tshwane South. What we're doing is we're trying to ensure that we develop the excellence and quality of several of the TVET colleges across the country in order to expand the capacity for quality vocational and technical education in South Africa. And Ms. Hendricks, very pleased also. I must also recognize the Chair of Council. Chairs of Council are very powerful people because they're in charge of governance. And it's a great pleasure to have had the opportunity to meet with you. And of course, our Deputy Director General, Ms. Magnus, great that you're here, and the team from Higher Education and Training. I think it's the Rear Admiral, is it? Yes, Rear Admiral Junior Grade Metu. Rear Admiral, really, I've never met at close range a Rear Admiral. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have the opportunity to meet you today, sir, and thank you for all the officers in the Navy for welcoming us and hosting us today. And Dr. Liu, our colleague from China, always strong support both from China and Japan. All distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to participate in launching this bilateral and cooperative agreement between South Africa and Japan in the field of artisan development. Now, yesterday I made an announcement about funding for relief of debt for students. Well, I've been hammered in the social media because they say it's a political ploy. Well, I did say to my department, maybe we shouldn't do it now. Let the new government do it. But the problem is the debt and interest on the loans grows and grows and grows. So we had to make a move. Now we're at a point where many of the colleges that are designated as centers of specialization are ready to get off the ground. So I'm afraid I'm going to be launching many such programs. And anyone who thinks it's a political ploy, bad luck to them, because work does go on, even when there's an election. Now, you would recall that we have our Vision 2030, which is the development plan of South Africa. The NDP has set us a target that we must, by 2030, be producing at minimum 30,000 qualified, competent artisans annually by 2030. At present, we're producing around 23,000 annually. So it's not a ludicrous target to have. If we work hard, work smart, we will reach that NDP target. We are working very hard with our colleagues in the TVET college sector to really make this target a reality. And I'm glad we're supported by the Sector Education and Training Authority as well as funded in some of our initiatives by the National Skills Fund. So we have a number of partners that are coming together to ensure that a very important target of the National Development Plan is pursued effectively and achieved. I am most grateful for a very long-standing cooperation and partnership with the government and people of Japan in a range of areas that I cannot detail today. But if one were to name a strong friend to South Africa in terms of skills development, Japan would rank among the top, and we are most grateful for that. I'm thrilled that we are today, through this partnership, certainly advancing and accelerating our ambitions in achieving the NDP targets I referred to. Of course, we still have a great deal of work that we must do to lift the quality and competence of our various TVET colleges. It's still a big undertaking because a lot of them are really shaped in an old mode of technical and vocational education. And we need, as Mr. Beach said earlier, to provide support to them to bring them into the 21st century in terms of lecturer development and workshop and other technical provisions that we must have in the sector. And having discussed this matter with our government, I have no doubt that we are going to radically modernize our TVET sector in South Africa. And I believe that it will in fact become the training sector of first choice for young people in South Africa in the future, if we do things right, which I think we can. I hope the minister after the elections will continue to do things right, but I think this is really a most promising sector. So what we've done then is really say much more should be invested in appropriately training a core of apprenticeships in our country, of apprentices in our country. But we've got to do this with content that is up to date, with workshops and machinery that are modern, that teach young people skills that are relevant in the 21st century, and we must do this in partnership with employers. That is the agenda we've set ourselves. If we can pursue this agenda, this sector of choice I'm referring to will be a reality. But if we forget any element of these various components, we won't really make the kind of break that I would like to see. I've been thrilled at the way in which our TVET colleges have responded to our intention to really ensure that they play a critical role in this new framework of artisan development that we are implementing through the launch today. Now, some of you might remember that a few years ago, together with our German colleagues, we embarked on a dual system pilot project. This began at 4 colleges, and we focused then just on 2 trades, electricians and plumbers. This was several years ago. However, it was clear that 2 trades at 4 colleges was a mere beginning. We are now hoping to build on the lessons we learned then, and we are taking this integrated model of training delivery somewhat to the beginning of scale. Our Centers of Specialization program includes developing 13 trade programs at 26 college sites throughout the country. 2 trades per, 2 colleges per trade. And we are implementing them in the dual system modality. So we are drawing on those lessons with our German partners and bringing them into a much larger set of initiatives. We also are absolutely thrilled, and I know Mr. Beach did recognize industry, so the fact that I didn't mention industry doesn't mean I regard you as less But the exciting fact is these initiatives that we launched today are being carried out with the full backing and partnership of industry. This is absolutely thrilling to me, that the young people who are entering into these programs come in with already an apprenticeship contract that links them to an industry player. And this is what we should always have done with our training. So I'm really thrilled. I love the Centers of Specialization program. But this jump, of course, from just 2 trades into 13 trades and many more sites is, of course, very challenging. And we are really, really thrilled that the Japanese government and partners have agreed that they will step into the breach and that they will assist us with the fitting and turning trade initiatives. The Centers of Specialization program is, as I've said, beginning to pave the way for us for the transformation of our TVET college system to make them more relevant and more responsive to industry labor demands, at the same time enhancing their capacity to deliver high-level quality occupational programs. One of the things you would always learn about me, I love quality and I love excellence. I never talk poor quality. I never talk less than excellence. So what we're aiming for is high quality and excellence in the programs that we will offer. Now, one of the things that we did a few years ago was we conducted an artisan post-qualification tracer study, which sought to develop and understand the level of employment of newly qualified artisans in South Africa. The study that we did found that 8 out of 10 of our newly qualified artisans either entered the labor market successfully or were self-employed as entrepreneurs. You won't find that with university qualified students, but you find it with the TVET sector. Our bilateral and cooperative agreement with Japan includes tracer and satisfaction measurement surveys. So these will be part of the work that we will do together. Ambassador, I am so fully aware that Japan has a sophisticated and highly developed manufacturing industry. And so I thank you for choosing to support fitting and turning here in South Africa, because I know the young people who train are going to be among the best fitters and turners. It's not only the 2 TVET colleges which will benefit, but companies which are going to host the apprenticeships, the apprentices that go through this dual modality program. The program also provides us with a vehicle through which the lessons we learn will be shared with other colleges in other sites in future. So, having told you of some of our ambition, let me really conclude my remarks by saying that today the real work begins and lies ahead. It's very nice to have events like this, yeah? And we've been promised snacks afterwards. Very delicious, very nice. However, the real work are those qualified and competent artisans, and it begins from here. We have to ensure that these 2 colleges, Northlink and Tshwane South, deliver on all that we hope for. And knowing Mr. Beach, we're not going to let you retire, Mr. Beach. We'll make you do other things. Knowing Mr. Beach, knowing Mr. Mani, I have no doubt that we are going to be successful. I'm aware that there is a joint coordination committee, and I'm pleased about that. I'm glad that you've created a structure which sits together to exercise oversight of the initiative and to ensure that we have a clear map of what we should be doing in the next period. I would like to wish the 2 colleges and all the collaborators all the best in implementing this important initiative. And let me tell you, although I have no idea what's going to happen to me after May 8, I know I'll be in Parliament and I'll be watching you. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, by